So, you might be asking yourself, what is this? Wasn't Wednesday night the original time slot that we did all of these crazy shenanigans
Okay, wow,
on?
I completely forgot that.
I didn't either. But we are back to where it all began on Wednesday nights because we are beginning something brand new here at Bay City Comics. That's right, we are expanding our comic. Can we say empire?
We have
I think
three, so that's not really an empire.
We have more than that because technically, even though we haven't addressed them, every one of our heroes does have their own individual comic line.
Oh, sure.
Bay City Chronicles is just the collaboration, headline in comic. But Lucha, Malkier, Kestrel, Phantasm, Jay, Anton, even some of our supporting characters, even Ven, they all have their own comic line.
Lucha's comic line is the graphic novel cookbook.
Yes, it is a graphic novel done in cookbook form, absolutely. But what we have here is something a little bit different. Yes, rocks fall and TGE kills everybody. You're not entirely wrong there, Cool Pat. But this is, again, something a little bit different than the ordinary. Everything we've been doing so far has been being done through the Mutants and Mastermind system, which is a D20-based system, very similar in birth to a D&D, where you have different stats that sort of make up your different things. Your dexterity for your ranged attack, your fighting for your close attack, strength, and all of these are very similar in sort of vein to a Dungeons and Dragons or a Pathfinder, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But there are other systems that need to be explored and need some love. And this is one of those. It still falls into the superhero genre, as well as obvious here by the Bay City Comics line. And specifically the system we're going to be discussing and working on today is Masks: A New Generation. This is a system based on the Powered by the Apocalypse system. Powered by the Apocalypse in itself is a wonderful system. It is D6 based, and there are all kinds of different types and styles of games that you can play with the Powered by the Apocalypse. There is a thing called Dungeon World, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's it's your D&D version of Powered by the Apocalypse. There is its namesake Apocalypse World, which is a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style. And then there's this one. This is Masks: A New Generation. And Masks is, well, it's the teenage superheroes game. Yes, teenage superheroes being a specific part of this because it is all about. It's still about breaking curfew and punching an overactive Tyrannosaurus in the face. But it's also about figuring out what your powers are, figuring out who you have a crush on, can you talk to that crush, all the typical teenage angst that you would come to expect in any Disney Channel original movie.
Woo!
I haven't quite convinced everybody to get on board for the High School Musical episode yet, but don't worry, prom will be a thing, I promise.
I'm on board already.
I said everybody. You're not the one I have to convince. So, what is Mask? Well, as I said, it is a superhero game. It's weird being on this side. Hey, Crib. It is a game about teenage superheroes sort of coming into their own. And there are a lot of fundamental differences. The biggest thing being is that there are no stats in the traditional sense in this game. Instead, there are labels. And the labels, there are 5 labels in this game, as you can see from OPT throwing up a sign there. So basically, the labels sort of represent not only what you, as your hero, think of yourself, but how the world sees you. Okay? And basically, what that means is sort of, for example, you look at superior as one of the labels. If you see yourself as superior, you see yourself as smart, tactical. If the world sees you as superior, you're arrogant, you're overbearing. So you can see how these can be a double-edged sword. Right? There are 5 total labels. So as I already mentioned, there is superior. So the 5 labels are as follows. Danger. So if you see yourself as dangerous, you see yourself as threatening, strong, risky. Other people might see you as because you might bring them harm. You're a threat to their well-being. Freak is going to be the next label. Freak is how you see yourself as strange, unusual, unique, or powerful. Other people see you as a freak when they think you're odd or unlike them, almost sort of xenophobic, but not quite. Savior. Savior is pretty much the most self-explanatory of the 5 labels because you see yourself as someone who defends people, who protects people, who guards people. Other people see you as sort of like that Superman type. You're noble, you're self-sacrificing, if a bit overbearing and heavily, over on morals. Superior we just discussed, and finally there is mundane. You see yourself as normal, human, empathetic, and understanding. Other people see you as mundane, like, well, you're too normal and too regular and uninteresting to be a superhero, but you're also sympathetic to what they're trying to say. So those are the 5 labels. So these labels, on every character sheet, or every playbook, not character sheets, they're playbooks, which we'll get into that in a minute, but every playbook starts off with a sort of set of scores as to what each label they have and what they see themselves as. And at character creation, whoever is playing that playbook is to add a +1 to whatever label they want. At the beginning of the game, you can only have a total of +3 amongst all your labels, and the scores range from -2 to +3. You can never go below -2, you can never go above +3. So that's sort of the basic things when it comes to labels. Now, more of these will get discussed in gameplay, but the big thing is that in Masks, there are going to be adults. And adults like to tell teenagers and kids who they are, how the world works, and what they think they should do. And a lot of times, they're going to be telling you these things, and they're going to be trying to shift your labels. Sometimes you'll accept it, sometimes you won't. If something ever happens where you shift the label too high or too low, you'll end up marking condition. Conditions are the damage in Mask, and there are 5 conditions that will be marked as well. There is angry, insecure, afraid, hopeless, and what is the 5th one? I have it right here. Guilty. Thank you. It's like I have it right in front of me. Like I'm literally looking at the sheet. I can't read the word guilty. Each one of these conditions gives a -2 to 1 or 2 of the basic move that the game has. Now, every playbook, no matter what it is, has access to all of these basic moves. And these are sort of what you're going to be using to interact with the world around you. Now, the basic moves are as follows. There's directly engage a threat, which is exactly what it sounds like. You're going up to punch the bad guy in the face. There is unleash your powers, which is when you're trying to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. Comfort and support is exactly what it says on the label. Pierce the mask, it's sort of when you're trying to figure out what somebody's actually, like what their true meaning is. Defend is also exactly what it says on the label. Assess the situation, again, another one of those exactly what it says in the label things. You're looking around trying to figure out what's going on. Provoke somebody is, again, that's the thing I like about this. If you noticed, pretty much all of these are exactly what they say on the label. Oh, you're going to provoke someone. You're trying to get them to do what you want. And then there's there is the how you take the damage. In addition to the GM, me, being able to inflict conditions when certain things happen, there's also the take a powerful blow move, which is basically what happens when you get punched back in the face or other things hit you. Take a powerful blow does not necessarily mean it has to be a physical blow. It can also be an emotional blow. Hey, your girlfriend just broke up with you. Take a powerful blow.
Dear.
Yes, because a powerful blow can be just as powerful as an emotional blow as it can be getting punched in the jaw by the giant mechanical Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I better be finding this T-Rex. You keep talking.
And I in no way, shape, or form have a mechanical T-Rex in the bank ready to go. Nope, I don't have a Mechanosaur ready to go at all. Nope. Okay, so it's a tabletop RPG, right? So there's got to be experience, right? How you level up in Masks is by failing. No, seriously. Every time you fail a roll, you get to mark potential. Every time you fill up the potential track of 5 check marks, you get an advance. You'll notice on all the character sheets that there are 2 lines of advances, the one above the line and the one below the line. You can only go after the ones above the line until you've unlocked 5 advances. After you've unlocked 5 advances, then you can start checking off ones below the line, keeping in mind that if you do happen to change playbooks, the ones below the line stay marked. You cannot ever mark them more than once. So, the big thing about masks is those who are fans of Bay City Chronicles to begin with won't find this too much of a stretch. But you thought we were being narrative during Bay City Chronicles? Masks is even more narrative than we've been doing. Don't get me wrong, though. The combat is much more fluid, in my opinion. Because, in Mutants or Masterminds, it's, hey, roll initiative, take turn. No, it's, all right, hey, for example, Kestrel, it's your turn. What are you doing? Well, I'm going to zip around the guy and punch him in the face. All right, you do that. Roll to directly engage a threat. And then based on the roll, we describe what happens. So that's kind of the bare bones basics of what's going on. I mean, that's sort of the bare bones basics of what is happening here. Now, you will notice that we have a blank 4th spot. Nora will be joining us here. He is in the middle of taking care of something else right now, some family stuff. So he will be joining us here in a minute or two. So, this is going to be what's referred to as Session 0. Now, Session 0 is very important in most, if not all, Powered by the Apocalypse games, but especially in Masks, because even more so than the fighting, one of the key things in Masks is all about relationships. Now, how you identify relationships in Masks is with a mechanic called influence. If you have influence over somebody, anytime you roll anything at all involving them, you take a +1. If somebody has influence over you, the same thing applies. And if people have influence over you, they can do things like shift your labels, give up their influence to inflict conditions, things like that. By default, every adult in the setting has influence over you always. You can obviously get rid of that through interactions and all that. But that's basically how it starts off. So now that we've sort of got the bare bones basic, Session 0 is all about building your characters and building, the team that you are going to be playing as. So before we started this, everyone got a chance to look at the playbooks that were allowed. There's a couple that are a little too timey-wimey. Nomad, I'm looking at you. Soldiers, too mechanically a pain in the butt. But for the most part, the playbooks I allowed pretty much all the playbooks. So what we're going to do right now is, just for a little bit, what I'm going to have you guys do is, if you've selected your playbook, which I think everybody has, on the top page of the playbook, next to the little character art there's a little blurb. That little blurb sort of describes the concept and the feel of the playbook. So, if you wouldn't mind sort of going through and just sort of introducing the playbook as a whole, as to what you're planning on doing, and then we'll go through sort of the building blocks of this. And what I want to do is go through each set one thing at a time, saying, okay, hey, Sham, you're going to go through this. OPT, you're going to go through this. And we're going to sort of establish the backstory here, because unlike in most other tabletop games where it's like, hey, you've all made characters, now how did you get together? With Masks, one of the questions you ask is, okay, you came together as a team. What did you fight? How? What were the consequences? And that's going to be the last thing we ask. So the team, at the end of this, will already have been established. So there's no that awkward first session, how do we get everyone together thing.
I do like skipping that.
Yes. So with that, since you spoke up so lovely, Chan,
Yay!
What playbook are you planning on playing?
I have the Nova in front of me.
Oh, righty. So what's that little blurb say about the Nova?
Says, you are a fount of power. Channel it, and you can remake the world exactly what you want. Unleash it, and you can do miracles. It's wonderful and terrifying. Lose control for even a second, and other people get hurt.
So basically, you are this powerful cosmic force, and you're not entirely sure how you're going to control that. OPT, I know you were going back and forth between a couple of playbooks. Did you make a final decision?
Yeah, I believe it's called the Janus.
Okay, we are going to Janus.
Is that a Y or a J?
Janus, named after the Roman god of duality.
Ooh.
Because the entire premise of the Janus is basically the two lives. The non-powered life and the powered life. Thanks, Spider-Man. But go ahead, there's a blurb there.
It says, wake up, breakfast, schoolwork, homework, sleep, repeat. It burns you up being stuck in this life, unable to make a real difference. That is, until you put on the mask. Then you can be someone else. A hero.
So, again, the Janus, as I said, is sort of like that Spider-Man. It is, you live in two worlds. You have your non-superpowered world and the superpowered world. Now, Nora is here in a minute, but again, is doing a couple of things. So I know the playbook that Nora is going to be working on, so I'll read that blurb so we can get that taken care of when he gets here. Nora's planning on playing the Legacy. You're the latest in a storied heroic lineage, a family that shares a name and a cause. Now, everybody is watching and waiting to see if you've got what it takes to uphold that tradition. No pressure, right? For this, you're thinking something like Kid Flash, that sort of thing. That's what a legacy set kind of is. So that's sort of what we've got for the basics of the playbooks. Now, in the core rulebook, it says, once you've selected the playbook, read the moment of truth. Because that sort of really defines the concept of the playbook. Now, what the moment of truth is the moment of truth is an advance you can unlock. And the moment of truth, it does a couple things. Number one, basically, with the moment of truth, whoever is using the moment of truth gains complete and total narrative control. I lose it, you gain it. So, for example, I'm going to read the moment of truth from the Protégé. Basically, when you think of the Protégé, think Dick Grayson to Bruce Wayne, Batman and Robin. Robin is a Protégé. So here's the moment of truth for the Protégé. The moment that you show who you really are, your mentor or something different. You can do whatever your mentor could do and more. You can do the incredible. Even the things that they always fail to accomplish. Of course, they're not going to see you the same way, no matter which path you choose. So basically, what it does is it allows you to take away narrative control from me, take it for yourself, and basically it allows you to, for lack of a better term, destroy the scene. It's that cool, like, end of arc, like Superman, like, for example, the Flash running into a plane and phasing the planes, but phases through the buildings and the bridge and lands in the water. Like, that's a moment of truth. And everyone who sees that is going to have differing expectations of what happens there. So, the moment of truth will come into play later because that's something you'll need to do for advances. So now, with the whole character build side of things, we're going to go through, player by player, piece by piece, and do this in order. So, what I want to do here is, on the right-hand side of your playbook, there's hero name, real name, and look. That's the first things we're going to do. So, if you don't have a hero name right now, I'm not worried about a hero name. Real name, definitely, and a brief description of who you are or what you look like and all that. We're going to go with that. Sham, let's go ahead and start with you.
Okay. So, start with, like, the real name?
Yep, so basically, real name, hero name, look, and sort of a little just generic backstory. Because we're going to have we're going to have backstory questions later that we're going to answer. So I just want name, hero name, and the whole what you look like.
Okay. I'll just go with what I have been brainstorming with then. The real name, I can't think of a hero name yet.
That's fine.
But for the real name, I'm thinking of a girl named Gianna, or Gigi to her friends.
Okay, and I say real name, I mean last name too.
Let's go with Robinson.
Okay, so the playbook that I gave to you here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the character sheet. You are the Nova playbook. So go ahead and you can edit that and do your thing. All right, so look. Now, again, the stuff that's on here, If you want to use it for ideas, that's great. Otherwise, you can just cross that off and describe them however you want.
I actually do have a rough idea. I've been doing like little doodle sketches to try to figure out what this character could look like. So
All right.
I won't hurt you
right
with the drawing. But the idea I have for the look is I'm picturing this like kind of youngish, like I'm thinking like maybe 13, 14-year-old African American girl. She has these really big glasses, and she's kind of dressed kind of unassumingly. Like, you know, she'd have a kind of like a nice short skirt, kind of like a sweater that she wears. It's kind of cold sometimes. She looks kind of nerdly. She has a bit of a half poof afro that actually sticks out to one side.
A afro, I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, visually that's kind of what she looks like. Fairly unassuming looking, if maybe a little nerdly.
All right. Does she have a hero costume?
I actually was trying to think of a hero costume, and the thing I could think of, I haven't drawn it up yet, is like when she goes heroing, she actually puts on like what would be considered a really cool like wizard cloak thing. Like she actually put like a hooded robe thing on that like hides most of her face, but then you can kind of see her glasses shining, so she looks kind of like a hooded black mage. I don't know.
I love that so much. I absolutely love that. Anything else we need to know about Gigi?
Let's see. Without getting into too much crazy stuff yet, because we're not even there. I'm thinking of her coming from a fairly, like, not so great home. Probably raised more by her father than her mother. I'm actually not sure if she'd have a mother. Yeah, actually, let's go with like she only has a father in the.
Okay, no.
So that kind of like will influence that she's probably raised a little bit more tomboyishly than most girls. And also, possibly not a very great relationship, but we don't know that.
We'll play to see what happens with that.
Exactly.
All right. So, moving on to our Janus. OPT.
Yo, so I came up with the name Alex Stanton.
Alrighty. Do you have a hero name?
I'm still working on that.
Okay.
But he's a white male. Mostly wears boring clothing. Good clothing, but still, you know, kind of doesn't stand out in a crowd kind of thing.
No, that's fair.
You know what his hero costume is, at least sort of.
I do, but the readers don't.
So...
but because that ties in directly to the whole powers and abilities thing, let's go ahead and wait on
Fair enough.
Just a little more. Let's throw a little tease.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Nora, are you there still? I guess not. Alright, I guess Nora's going to have to do all his at once. So, normally, each playbook has abilities that they get to take. However, the Nova still has abilities, but the Nova is a special case because the Nova doesn't have moves, Nova has burn. We'll get to that in a minute. But right now, abilities. So, you can fundamentally control the world around you. Choose one option from the list as the broad base of your control. So, Cham, Gigi, you have 6 options there. Which of those 6 options?
The one that fits the best for what I'm envisioning is probably the telekinesis/telepathy they got.
Okay, that's fair enough. Because, again, we'll get to the description of how your powers manifest. And again, the abilities there is a sort of broad thing.
Yeah.
So, I know how you want them to manifest. So we will go with that. But it's more psychic energies than anything. Okay. OPT. What are your abilities?
Energy absorption seems like the only one that fits my idea.
Okay. Well, keep in mind that these are just general placeholder ideas. So, in addition to the heightened physical ability, strength, agility, and toughness, energy absorption, and what is the other thing you want it to be able to do? And if you say summon weapons from nowhere, I'm reaching through the computer and smacking.
No. I mean, yes, but no.
He kind of has to, eventually.
Right? No. So it doesn't have to be on this sheet. Is what you're saying?
No, again. The sheets are designed for, as Nora put it, those who are creatively challenged.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And they try to sort of give you the abilities based off of the characters they were referenced. So if there's something that you want to do that isn't on there that fits, go ahead.
If I wanted like a heightened technological abilities, like
right, like if you have like an enhanced computer skills as one of the two abilities, like for example, on the Protege playbook, hacking is an ability that they list. So if you want that to be one of your abilities, along with energy absorption, I'm all for it.
Let's go with that. I don't actually know what energy absorption is going to do for me now that I've said it.
But basically, energy absorption is exactly that. You take the physical manifestations of energy, and you get to absorb them into your body.
So you're saying, like, if he were like on a street light, he could absorb the electricity from the street light, and now he's electricity powered.
To a point, yes. There is such a thing as energy overload.
Okay. I can make that. I can actually make that work with my ideas.
Yeah, when we get to the more laid out parts of the idea, if something else clicks better, we'll switch it. Not a big deal. All right, Nora, we're going to go to you here now. So I already read the little blurb about the legacy, so everyone kind of knows what's going on here. So you have a couple of things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to give me the name of the legacy, like what's your hero name or your legacy name, your real name, describe the look of the character, and tell me what legacy power set you're going to be using, and what 3 of the 5 abilities that you have from that set.
All right. So for the legacy name, not so much like a secret identity, but Last of the Brood.
Okay, so more specifically, when I say legacy name, is when people see you flying through the air, or what do they call you?
It's a dragon.
I mean, if you just want to call it dragon, we can. Although, we gotta get a little more creative.
Wow, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, that is funny.
Kaiser.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so what is your character's real name?
Ryu.
I need a last name, too. No, I need a last name.
Has to have one.
Has to have one.
Ryu Shinryu.
Ryu Shinryu. Can you get any more stereotypical? I love it. I love it.
I mean, if we're going that way. See, this is where I should have known what to do earlier.
Right. I mean, I can think of one, but this is your character, so I want you to do it. Although Ryu Shinryu is hilarious.
Sorry.
Facepalm for a little bit here. Ryu.
Oh, PT, do you have the Jeopardy music queued up?
I don't, and sadly I didn't want to get copyright striked, but you know. Do 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 do.
What about the mountain climber music from Price is Right? Will that work?
Which?
Da-di-o-di-o, da-di-o-di-o. Welcome to Next Gen, everybody. Apparently, we've already started the music.
Kind of just like everything else we do on this channel.
So it's going to be Dragon.
Dragon. I love it. I love it. Alrighty, describe what they look like.
Could have been Drake.
Could have been Drake.
Drake should be the first name.
Drake Dragon.
Drake. Okay, Drake. Okay, yes. Please change that. Thank you. That's good.
That's great, and it's got the alliteration which you need for a comic.
Wait, Drake Dragon? You're
Drake
serious?
Dragon.
So he's all under
Dragon.
Japanese. Okay.
Dragon. Dragon.
Go.
Not dragon. Dragon.
I got it.
French dragon. It's a French dragon, literally.
Yes.
So we're going with the look. Obviously, we've gone French.
We've gone French, so you're white.
Kind of a not dyed green hair, but like it's actual. His hair is green from the energy within him,
Okay.
and he has a sword as his primary weapon, and costume is very not like medieval, but like almost a trench coat, like an open coat kind of flare.
Okay. And because you said a sword is his primary weapon, I'm going to assume that you're going to be picking the fourth of the 5 legacy ability sets, which is Divine Armor, Magic Weaponry, Mythic Might, Legendary Speed, and Godlike Beauty.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 2 of those 5 abilities you don't have yet. Which 2 don't you have?
The godlike ability.
Alrighty.
Where are these? I'm looking.
If you take a look at the legacy page, it's on the bottom, underneath the picture of Huma there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And legendary speed.
Alrighty, so you have the top 3. You've got the armor, you've got the sword, and you've got the strength. But you lumber around slowly, and you're not very pretty. Okay.
Actually, I think I did that wrong. I did that wrong. I should have the beauty, not the. I thought God likes. I missed that. Yeah, so it should be armor, weaponry, and beauty.
Okay.
No might, no speed.
Makes more sense. It does make more sense. Okay. So, now that we've got those out of the way, next comes the moves. So, moves are sort of how you interact and how each playbook gets its own characteristic. But before we go into the actual moves, the Nova gets something special. The Nova gets something called Burn. Basically, that's you channeling your magic and your energy. So, with your Burn, you get what are called flares. Each one of these flares does something a little bit different. So, you get 4 of them. Which 4 are you taking?
That's a good question. I've been thinking about this, looking at them. And I want to take constructs. So that's kind of given. I like Reality Storm. Because she's not going to be directly engaging things like with her own face. I was kind of torn on the next abilities. I thought maybe taking shielding would be nice.
Okay.
To help defend somebody. Also because, yeah, protective. But the last one I wasn't quite sure. I thought about maybe Moat.
Okay. Now, I am of the persuasion that if during play you haven't used one of these, and we come up with something that fits better as to how you're playing, and you haven't used one yet, you can freely swap them out until they've been used.
Alright. Yeah,
So,
it's either Moat or Overcharge, but I don't know.
So yeah, figure it out, add it to your character sheet, let me know the whole thing. So now we're going to move back up to our Janus. The Janus also gets something special. So, you start with the move the Mask. You're going to take 2 others of your choice. But first, let's talk about the mask for a second. So, the Mask. You wear a mask and hide your real identity. Choose what label you try to embody while you're wearing your mask. It can be Freak, Danger, Savior, or Superior.
Danger.
Okay.
He's
So,
in this to beat up the
once
bad
per-
guys. He's not necessarily in this for heroing.
Fair enough. So, Mask is a move that you can switch labels between your mundane label and your Mask label once per session. The other thing that Mask gives you is when you reveal your secret identity to someone who didn't already know it, mark potential, which is good. However, that means more people know who you are, which creates more story hooks.
Which
for
you
me.
don't want to. Well, which my guy doesn't want to do.
Which I want you to do. Oh, please, I want you to do. All right, so in addition to that, you have 5 other moves here on the list. You get to choose 2 of the other 5. Do you know which 2 you want to take?
I'll save you.
Okay.
And mild mannered.
All right. So, what those do are as follows. Mild mannered. When you try to use your civilian identity to deceive, trick, or slip past somebody, roll plus mundane. On a hit, they buy your facade. On a 7 to 9, which is considered a soft hit, choose 1. You're still under observation, you leave something incriminating behind, or you're forced to make a fool of yourself to sell it. On a miss, one of your civilian obligations rears its ugly head. Now, the reason I wanted to read that one specifically is because the other part of the Janus is the secret identity, which is the civilian obligations. So, your mundane life comes with a series of obligations. Choose a total of 3 of them. I will give you a chance to look over that, figure it out, while we go back up to Nora. And the legacy moves. Choose 2.
Aww.
Question: is these secret identity things the same thing as I can pick one of these, or actually make something up, or do I actually have to pick one of these?
Those are just generic things. So as long as they fall under, the only thing that's sort of set in stone is the categories.
Got it.
Job, school, home, and
Got it.
social. As long as they fall into 3 of those 4 categories, you're good. All right, so Nora, you have these legacy moves.
So I think the legacy matters.
I love that move, by the way. One of my favorite moves.
And then words the past.
You've literally picked my 2 favorite legacy moves.
Those sound very cool.
Yes. I like them as a GM because Words of the Past basically allows me to, oh, hey, here's someone from your legacy. They're coming to mess with you. Shit. Pardon my use of language there. So you also have a little extra that you have to worry about down at the bottom there, the actual legacy. Okay? There are 4 fill-in-the-blanks there. And any other one that you want to potentially, fill in that may fit, go right ahead. But I need 2 of those. Different members of your legacy. Someone who may be still active, someone who's retired, someone who might be next in line, and or the greatest opponent your legacy ever faced, and they're still at large. I need 2 of those names. I just need names. So I'll let you figure out those names for a minute, and we're going to go back to OPT for his secret identity.
Alright, so my obligations, schoolwork. I wrote down family obligations because of the idea for the backstory I've got in my head.
Okay. Nope. And that's fine. We can put it. We can specify it later.
And then to go along, kind of on that same route, close relative.
Okay, which is the social obligation. So we're good there. All right. So again, that's all backstory stuff. Those are notes that I'm writing down, so I have that for later.
Heads up, TG.
Yeah.
I just remembered when I was looking at this early what I actually did one for my 4th power. It was boost.
Okay.
Not move.
That's fun. Alrighty, so Nora. Your legacy is an important part of, well, not Halcyon City. This is Bay City. The Solstice version of Bay City. So, what do you got for me?
All right. So, Kiev, the protector of the sky, is still active and prominent in the city.
All right, can you type that into chat so I know how to spell it?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay.
And then Peridot, the Swift, is retired and quite judgmental.
Okay. So, you're letting me make the rival? I love it. Excellent, Smithers. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to write down some notes here. So what I want you guys to do is on that second page where your moves and or your burn are, there are some backstory questions. this is where we're going to sort of get into the meat and potatoes of everything. So take a minute, look at the questions, jot down either your notes for them or answers for them, and we'll get to that in a minute. Meanwhile, I just want to remind everybody, while they're looking up at our backstory, that while we are still doing Bay City Comics Presents Next Gen, that doesn't mean we're letting Bay City Chronicles fall by the wayside. We will be back on Sunday with another issue of Bay City Chronicles, in which there might actually be some combat.
I'll believe it
No.
when I see it.
Well, it won't be for you because you're still in the city. You didn't go to Virgo with everybody.
No, we can't.
I don't even know what combat looks like.
No, we don't. We can't have combat. No. We need to go an entire arc without having actual roll to hit combat.
Oh, I can make that happen. It might not be any fun.
I mean,
We're pretty close, and it's been.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, it's been
Anyway,
enjoyable.
Teach, I'm actually ready with
Okay.
this backstory stuff.
In that
Goodness, that
case,
was quick.
okay, then we will
I've
go
been
ahead and
thinking
go
about
with the
this for a little
channels.
while.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to let you answer, and feel free to extrapolate. So, backstory question number 1: when did you first put on the mask, and why?
Well, about 6 months ago. Because my guy is a hacker. He likes to hack into things. He's really, really, really good at it. And he happened to stumble upon, some secret organization's technological powers or whatever, and hacked one of them and basically stole one of them. My character is, in fact, a Super Sentai, aka Power Ranger, because he jacked one of the red power coins, which I've got right here, from someplace. I'll let you figure that out, Tej.
Already have.
Nice. And he, after discovering this, realized that he could do something, as in something physical, with said powers and beat up the bad guys, which is way more fun than this hacking thing that, despite the fact he's really good at it, he's bored. He doesn't have a job because his family's well off. They're not rich, super, super ritzy, but they're well off, so he just has to focus on school and his family obligations, which are, family events that he has to go to all the time.
All right, which parlays into the next question of, why do you keep a secret identity?
Well, because clearly actually he has two, his online hacker identity and this Sentai thing, because he doesn't want the people who he stole it from to realize where he got it from.
Fair enough. Who, outside of the team, knows about your dual identity?
That close relative? It's like his
Okay,
blind...
did they have a name?
Yes, Ted, his blind uncle. Ted Stanton.
Okay. Who thinks the worst of your masked identity?
Oh,
And what is your masked identity?
Red Dragon.
We're very lizard themed here.
Apparently. Who thinks the worst of your mess identity? Probably the people he stole it from.
Well, no, when they say who specifically, if you want to say people who stole from, that would work. Not a problem. If you have any specific names in mind, we can go that. And the final question here, we're going to wait on until we get everybody else's stuff here, because that's the same sort of question on all of them as the whole why do you care about the team? So, we're going to wait on that. We are now going to move down to our Nova.
Hi there.
Gianna, when did you first use your powers?
When she was very little, her dad left her alone for another night at work. And while she was alone in the apartment, a man broke in. When he broke in, she was extremely terrified and scared, and she felt so alone. And she just wanted somebody to be there. Somebody to help. And suddenly somebody was. Standing right next to her was a big ball of hair and muscles, suddenly. And she felt suddenly very safe. And it said, "I'll protect you." And when it said this to her, it punched the man right through the robber as he came right into the home and blew him right out the door. And then from that moment forward, she realized that she had a friend at her side all the time.
I love it. Alrighty, next question. Who was the first person that you accidentally hurt with your powers? I believe it would be said thief.
Well, the thing is, said thief was actually my Uncle Jerry. I had to come into the apartment without a key.
I love this so much. Okay. Who, outside of the team, helps you control your power?
Oh, that was a question I didn't actually get to too deeply on, but who outside the team helps me control my powers? I want to say it's like her own inner voice sometimes, but I actually am. No. She's a schoolgirl. She goes to school. So a really nice teacher who helps her to channel it into drawing.
Okay, does this teacher have a name?
Let's call her, Mrs. Kerpopolis. I don't know.
So she's Greek.
I was thinking Jewish, but yeah, Kerpopolis works Greek.
Oh, Kerpopolis is Greek as heck.
Okay, let's go with Greek. Yeah, Kerpopolis.
My math teacher in my sophomore year in high school was Carol Xanthopoulos, and she was Greek as you can get. She also went by Mrs. X for obvious reasons. Okay, and finally, why do you continue to use your powers?
Well, she continues to use her powers because her powers makes her not alone anymore. When she's left alone now, she always has somebody at her side, even if not everybody else can see them or believe that they're actually there. She knows that they are, and it kind of makes the world a little bit easier to deal with when she knows that she's not alone and that she can actually affect it, even if she's told otherwise that she can't.
Okay. Again, we'll go to the why do you care about the team in a minute. Finally, Nora, I've given you time. All the time I can give you. So, this first question should be pretty easy considering the setup that I did for you. When did you officially become a part of your legacy?
Well, now you broke what I wrote.
That's fine. I don't care if you want to do it or not. Go ahead and write what you need to. If not, I'll use that for something else.
Actually, okay.
Nope.
So
do what you need to.
So, 3 years ago, at the age of 13, when the last Dragonian warrior was slain by some guy in a nanotech suit.
Gee, I wonder who that could be.
That's amazing. Okay. What is the greatest accomplishment of your legacy?
Helps if you hit the button. The youngest Dragonian warrior ever.
Okay, I like that. How does the public perceive the Kaiser legacy?
So the public is very fearful of the clan. They do have dragon powers, but respects the warrior as a protector of the realm.
Okay. And how does your legacy tie into your reasons for being a hero?
So the Droganian warrior was fated to fall on him as he was born into the path. It was not his time yet. So now he is, unfortunately, very early taken the mantle and is the keeper of the Dragonian katana.
Alrighty, so again, before we get into the why do you care about the team, there is one other thing that I probably should do here. Now, because as awesome as, 3 people are, and unfortunately 3 people does not a team make, so I thought we kind of needed a... So, I've kind of already introduced this 4th team member. You guys have kind of seen him a little bit on Sundays. But now we'll get into a little bit more of the backstory here. So I, too, will answer the backstory questions and descriptions. But I hope you all have enjoyed Rebound. Because Rebound will be joining the crew here.
Woo!
Rebound is the Beacon playbook. Now, the Beacon playbook is the your Hawkeye, your Kate Bishop. You don't have to be a hero, but you do it because it's awesome. Quote, you don't have to do this. You could probably have a safe, decent, simple life. It'd be nice, but come on. Superpowers, aliens, wizard, time travel? You're out of your depth, but who cares? This is awesome. Everybody should try it.
It's funny because the Janus actually has kind of a link to the Beacon on their playbook.
You have to take the Beacon drives. So, what we have, as we've sort of pseudo-established there in BCC proper, this is in fact the Solstice version of Hunter Varlo, or Hub. Here, her name, of course, is Rebound. The picture, you've all seen the picture, but Hunter is, about 13, innocent green eyes, brown hair, fairly simple, comfortable clothing. The costume, this version of the costume, I have a picture of it, but it's flashy, but not over-the-top flashy. His abilities are, again, goes to the ignore what it says here and go with what works. He is going to be the acrobatics part of it, but also, instead of bow and trick arrows or swords, Rebound is basically Mr. Boomerang. So, I know anyone who knows me might be surprised that I'm doing a Boomerang guy, right? So, Rebound is...
I just got that.
Why the name is
Really?
Rebound? Why his name is Rebound?
No, why you're using boomerangs.
Of course.
All hail. Okay, so the Beacon also starts with a couple of moves. And so the two moves that I am going to start with here, and that I'm taking, are Straight Up Creepin'. Straight Up Creepin' is when you scope out a person or place, roll plus mundane, and get to ask some questions. It's a little bit difficult for me to ask questions as the player, but this is the move. This is basically sort of Rebound's big thing. Is I'm just here. I know all these things because I'm there. And the other move that he's going to take right now is called Suck It Domitian. When you stand strong while dramatically under fire, roll plus Savior instead of plus Danger to directly engage a threat. It is a reference to the Roman god, I think it's a Roman or Greek god Domitian, who apparently could fire 4 arrows at once. There's a comic where Kate Bishop, young Hawkeye, fires 5 arrows and just looks and goes, "Suck it, Domitian." That's what like all of these are comic references. It's great. So those are going to be Rebound's 2 moves. So as for the backstory here, when did you first gain your skills? Well, sometimes you don't really train, you don't really come into things. You just sort of naturally talented at these things. Especially not being from Australia, sometimes you're given a toy and it just sort of clicks. And that was sort of the case with Hunter. After his father remarried, sat in the yard and ended up with a boomerang of some sort, and just instinctively knew how to throw it. And the acrobatics part of where he has actually comes from the other part of his backstory, where, as we have all seen, his stepbrother is Ben, who has the gymnastics and acrobatics background. He sort of learned through, wanting to get to know his stepbrother. So, hey, teach me how to do the flips, teach me how to do this, teach me how to do that. That's how he became into the acrobatic side of things. When did you first put on your costume? When they got to Bay City proper after flying cross country from Goffstown, with everything that was going on in their lives, he's like, well, the least I can do is try and help my brother out with all the stuff he's doing in the hero thing. So he put that costume on. Who outside the team thinks you shouldn't be a superhero? Well, basically everybody. His brother Ben especially, but basically everybody. It's like, you're 13, you've lost way too many parents to count. Just relax. Why do you try to be a hero? I kind of explained that with the first put on the costume. So Beacons also get a special extra called Drives, and that's sort of the motivation behind the Beacon, and sort of the motivation behind who they are, what they do, and why they are a hero. So basically what Beacon is, if you Drives, If you hit a drive, you cross off and you mark potential character. So rebounds for drives are to outperform an adult hero, earn the respect of a hero you admire, help a teammate when they need you the most, and kiss someone dangerous.
Can respect that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the so we have 4 people because 4 I think is a better number, and we'll be able to switch in and out if people decide they want to join, they don't. All right, so back to the final question. We're going to start with OPT. Why do you care about this team?
Well, these are the outside of his Uncle Ted. These are the only people that currently, as far as he knows his actual identity.
No, the team doesn't know
they
your
don't?
identity unless you want them. Nope. The team, if you look at the next set of questions on the Janus, you can say the team does, but one of the questions is you refuse to tell blank your secret identity when they ask. So at least one person doesn't know your secret identity. You can have it be nobody.
Gotcha.
So I leave that up to you. But I just wanted to let you know that we don't have to know your identity.
Okay.
Those blanks have to be like us?
The relationships, yes, those have to be the team. Now you know why I wanted a 4th person.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go with, because I mean that makes the only. In my mind, it only makes sense that he cares about this team if they know who he is.
Okay, no, that's fine. Again, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Plus, it's easier. But and he cares about the team other than outside of that because probably just living in Bay City, he would have run across, probably in his own adventures, would have run across these other 3 fighting the bad guys and kind of all come together like like kids do.
Alrighty. Alright. Gigi, why do you care about the team?
Well, Gigi spends a lot of her time alone otherwise. At home, with nobody else around, not a ton of friends otherwise in school. This team is actually a family that's there. It's a friendship that's there. They're actually people. They're her outlet for socializing. And they're kind of like the best and really only current friends that she's known.
Fair enough. Drake, why do you care about the team?
Drake doesn't care as much about the team as being close to Rebound, who knows who killed the last Dragon Warrior. He's seeking revenge.
Oh, fun. Rebound cares about this team because everybody else who he's engaged with, whether it's been as Hunter or as Rebound, keeps telling him to sit back, relax, and not be. This team, they encourage it. Like, no, do this. Like, do what you want to do. So he cares about this team because they care about him, and they don't care, where he came from, who he is, what background he came from. It's like, no, you want to sit there, you want to fight, let's do this. So, there's the when our team first came together question. And there's going to actually be 5 questions total. So, every person on the question that comes up on their playbook has total control over the question. So, what you say goes. You can discuss it amongst people, but ultimately you're the final say. Now, these questions are asked in a specific order. So, there it is. So, the first question, nobody is playing the playbook from the bull. So, the bull question, I'm going to stand back from answering these questions. I'm going to let you guys do it. So, the bull question is, when the team first came together, we defeated a dangerous enemy. Who or what was it? I may have also set you up for this answer if you wanted.
I mean, I kind of want to try Tyrannosaurus.
I mean, the Mechasaurus makes total sense here. All in favor of the Mechasaurus?
My guy doesn't actually have Zords, but okay.
No, Mechasaurus. Basically, it's a Tyrannosaurus skeleton that was augmented with machine parts.
Yes, I gotcha.
And animated by something.
That's fine.
I'd call that like a Cybersaur.
Cybersaurus.
Yes, but Mechasaurus sounds better.
It does sound better.
And Cybersaurus is a pre-generated villain from Mutants and Masterminds they didn't want to use.
Oh, okay.
It's the Mechasaur. Alrighty, so the next question is for the Nova. So, when the first team together, we destroyed our surroundings in the fight. Where was it, and what did we destroy?
Oh, shoot.
If it's not a rooftop, I'll be ashamed.
It's Stormbreaker Tech's rooftop.
How would we even get up there?
You can fly.
I can, yeah, for sure, actually. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to like be fighting in an open air mall. Personally,
Okay.
like there's lots of stuff to be broken, lots of storefronts, and kids hang out at the mall. Yeah, this is what the kids do.
Okay, so you were at the Bay City, Bay City, one of the open air malls. Okay, I'm okay with that. And you wrecked the Claire's shop.
I'm good with this.
There's a couple other, but really Claire's. Let's be honest.
It's the one we wanted
Alrighty.
to wreck.
Yes, that was intentional.
But it didn't have my
That
color.
was
Yeah.
fun.
They
was
didn't
fun.
have. Yeah. All right. The
Bay
Janus.
City's the only place where you can buy superhero insurance.
Yes. When our
It's
team
required
first-
in
Yes.
certain zones.
Right.
It really is, especially in the area around Stormbreaker Attack, especially on the roof.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Alrighty, when our team first came together, we saved the life of somebody important, either to the city or to us. Who was it, and why are they important?
So before I answer that, I guess I have one question. Do we all go to the same school?
Yes.
What if we all saved our principal?
Okay. What's the principal's name?
Tyler Heinrich.
Heimer.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously they're important because
Principal Heinrich.
Exactly.
they're important because
Principal.
they're the principal. Now, I'm not going to answer my question because I'm kind of also the mastermind behind a lot of this. So I'll let you guys discuss this one. We found signs that this incident was just the start of something bigger. What were the signs?
Banana.
Oh, I got a fun idea.
Special tech.
Okay, I'm listening.
The idea, like Tyrannosaurus, like the Mechasaurus on the inside, like we found that it actually like had the name of our biology teacher. I don't know.
It was going for Mrs. Kropopoulos instead.
It's all conspiracy. The biology department's trying to kill the principal.
Like maybe we found some kind of symbol or some kind of like tech.
I like that.
Tech.
I do like the symbols.
Like some kind of like
What?
symbol that I went and like looked up in I don't know something that's
Okay,
on Google.
describe the
Like
symbol.
an all saying I.
I don't want to go with an I just because that's overdone.
And it kind of crosses over to the BCC plot.
Yeah.
We could do an ear. Okay, sorry. More body parts.
A crescent moon.
I mean, that's basically bananas. Okay.
Fair.
See, I said bananas.
You did say bananas.
And we found
Okay.
the symbol where?
Yeah.
Inscribed on one of the rib bones of the Mechasaur.
Gotcha.
I think that's awesome. It's
Lots
just
of
like
bananas.
BANANAS. Okay. So now that we know how we got to know each other, so everybody has these 2 relationship questions. So I'm just going to go in order of alphabet on the list, which means technically I go first.
Yay.
So, blank is awesome, and you take every chance you get to hang out with. Well, let's be 100% honest. A extremely powerful, magical girl who can create pretty much anything she wants from the constructs of her mind, that's the exact kind of thing Rebound wants to hang out with. And
Bad Rebound.
and you've got to prove yourself to blank before you feel like a real hero. Again, I also feel like it makes sense to prove yourself to the established legacy in the city. So that would be great. Also, you're so excited to be here. Give influence over you and 3 of your teammates. So you all can mark off that you have influence over Rebound.
How do I
See,
do
that's going to be
that?
on our character
How do I do
sheets,
that?
right?
Yep, on the bottom right-hand corner.
Gotcha.
Oh, I probably should have my character sheet open.
You should. I have named them for you all. So next up is the Janus. So that would be Red Dragon.
Yes, so blank knew you from your civilian life first. I'm actually going to pick Rebound.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it seems like we met in computer class.
You tutored him in computer class.
I mean, that's what I mean, yes. And then, you refuse to tell Blake your secret identity when they ask. This has to be one of us, right?
Yes, but you've already established that you've told
Yeah.
everybody if you want to, so you can ignore
I'll
it.
say nobody.
Okay. So you look up to your teammates. They seem to have the superhero thing figured out. Give 2 of them influence over.
Well, the Legacy, definitely. And probably the Nova, because let's be honest, little girl walking around with that kind of power is scary.
Aw.
Makes sense, actually. Also, I'm just picturing like a 1-bedroom apartment. Slimpy, so the first time we see the homing, just go, phenomenal cosmic powers! Speaking of that, it's the Legacy's turn.
Oh, hold on. So I have influence over OPT's
Right
characters.
Right now, you have influence over Red Dragon and
Red Dragon Rebound. And... Oh,
Okay.
K, not an R.
Okay, so, first things first, your first relationship question. You once got caught doing something that shamed your legacy with blank. Who was it, and what did you do? What did we do?
We may or may not have held a small squirrel hostage.
So you were messing with the animals, okay.
We couldn't catch the otter.
And yet somehow you count the thing that can go like 50 times faster than the otter.
He just
He
wasn't
didn't see
ready.
us coming.
Yeah.
Fair.
They threw a couple of acorns. Anyway, you trust blank and told them an important secret of your legacy.
Red dragon.
Okay, what was the secret?
It's still a secret.
Hmm.
To everybody?
So that's a battle royale, not a secret.
No, it's only 5 rupees because it's you anyway.
No, the secret is there's no boat. No. No, so the secret is kind of the entrance to the Dragonian world. Or not necessarily world, but realm in this case.
Alrighty. And you're a part of this team for better or for worse, and you care what they think. Give influence to all of your teammates.
So, give influence?
Yeah, so basically, under the influence tab, everybody, myself, Gigi, and Red Dragon, all have influence over Drake, over Kaiser.
I'm still typing Drake.
All right, and
Can't call him.
and finally, the Nova. You hang out all the time with Blank to blow off steam.
I mean, Rebound makes the most sense for the same age.
Right, but Rebound also makes sense for the bottom one, too.
Possibly.
But it's your call.
Yeah, I think Rebound makes the most sense for the first one because he's my same age. And so, like, finally a friend around the age. So yeah, hang out all the time with him to blow off steams. He gets it.
All right, you once hurt Blank when you lost control of your power.
I'm actually thinking Red Dragon. I think what might have happened is like with the way that Red Dragon probably fights, the way like he's there to beat up the bad guys. She probably tried to help him out, like having a buddy summon with him to like back him up, but she went too far with. Like, don't worry, he's got your back. Just go ahead and throw him towards the enemy. Oh gosh!
So basically, she tried to form the head, and it didn't.
Basically, she tried to make him a Zord.
Yes.
All I can think of is
Okay.
her stuffed bear sitting on top of me, just like. Ow.
Yep. No, just some hedgehogs, no big
Right.
deal.
Right.
Okay, so finally, choose your demeanor. A happy facade or locked down. If you choose happy, give influence to 3 teammates. If you choose locked down, give influence to 1.
It's hard to say because they both sound a little bit extreme. I probably would say happy facade because she's not obviously like having problems,
Okay.
but like she's not like going around like all bubbly and such. So I'd probably say happy facade.
Okay, so that means since there's only 3 other teammates, we all get influence over you.
Yay!
So I think that means the legacy has influence over everybody, as does the Janus.
I do not have any. Oh, I do have. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yes. I think I'm the only one who doesn't have influence over
I
everybody.
mean, that kind of makes sense, narratively
It
speaking.
really does. It really does. Okay. So with that, session 0 is done. Like, that's it.
Aw, that was so fast.
Yeah.
Wait, what about our stats?
Oh, so those start off as they have there in the setup, like in the white labels there. So, for example, Rebound starts off with a Danger at -1, a Freak at -1, Savior at 2, a Superior at 0, and a Mundane at +2. Mark those off, and you get to add +1 to any stat you want at character creation.
So we take the first label. So where it says labels,
Right.
we take the first row.
Right. So for you, for you as the legacy. So your danger is gonna see how they're all highlighted in white. Everything's in blue.
Oh,
There's 5
okay.
numbers highlighted in white. The highlighted in white numbers is how you start. So for Rebound, for example, I added +1 to his Savior. So he's -1, -1, +3, 0, +2. The biggest thing to note is that your sum of labels should equal 3. Also, in the character sheet, you'll see the active and passive moves. If you guys could, at some point, just at least list down the move name in that section. Copy pasting what they do is fine, but just list them down so I know.
Which is active and which is passive?
Yeah.
Active. Okay, well, let's take a look. Both of the legacy moves are passive. No troll involved. Words of the Past and Legacy Matters, those are both passive. They trigger. The Nova, just write down, yours are all going to be active because they're flares. Write down what the flares are and what they do. And for the Janus, you took I'll Save You and Mild Mannered. Mild Mannered is active, I'll Save You is passive.
So, question: I have powers that affect other people, like on their turn or when they're getting hit. Would that
Mhm.
count as passive, or is that still considered active?
They're all active because you're choosing when to activate them.
I
In that
see.
sense, in that sense, because you have to have burn active, so you're choosing to activate your burn. So technically, all of the flares are quote unquote active.
Gotcha.
What was my 2? I know I did Words of the Past. I forgot what the other one was.
The legacy matters.
Okay.
And what are these labels for?
Labels are what you're going to roll for. Like, for example, if you're rolling to defend somebody, you're going to roll 2 plus your savior. If you're trying to pierce somebody's mask, you're going to roll 2d6 plus mundane. If you're trying to directly engage a threat, you're going to roll 6 plus danger.
Okay, so for our moves, if it says like this and this, like rolling this ability, you put that label next to the.
Correct. You're not going to put any labels because yours are all part of your burn.
Right.
So more, I just want to be able to have that so I know what it does if I need.
Gotcha. And we can probably add like little flavor or extra names to these if we want to.
If you want to. No need to. So normally at the end of every session there is an end of session. We're not going to do it today because there wasn't actually any session. It was character building and world building. So at the end of every session, everyone gets to choose one of 3 options. You can grow closer to the team, grow into your own image of yourself, or you can grow away from it. If you grow closer to the team, you explain who made you feel welcome, why, give them influence over you, and either clear condition or mark potential. If you grow into your own image, you explain how you see yourself and why, shift one label up, one label down. If you grow away from the team, explain the reasons why you feel detached, take influence over you away from.
Okay.
And all of these will be explained in more detail. And trust me, it's a lot easier if we just do it in passing than if I info dump you.
Right.
It makes sense. I'm looking forward to seeing like you explain this influence thing because it always sounds like a bad thing.
No, yes and no. Like if you for example, I'm going to use you as if you are rolling shielding to defend rebound, you have influence over rebound. So when you roll, you'll roll your 2d6 plus your freak plus 1 because you have influence.
Oh!
But
okay.
Influence is a double-edged sword because if someone has influence over you, it means you care what they think. It means they can say things to you, they can tell you who you are and how the world works, and they can attempt to shift your labels as well.
Which is bad for the people who are against us.
Right, or, it might just be like, for example, I'm going to use the Legacy as a great example of this. Nora might go to Kiev for some advice, or whatever, Chicken Kiev for some advice, and he might say, well, yeah, here's some advice. Stop rushing into danger like an idiot and act more like you're supposed to. Save people. In that case, he's telling you, he's shifting your danger down, your savior up. How do you respond? You can always choose to reject somebody's influence. You don't have to accept what they say. If you reject their influence, there's a role involved, and there's all kinds of other things. But basically, how I'm going to do it is, whenever there's a move, I will read off what the move says, and I will explain, hey, roll this. Like, for example, if you want to reject somebody's influence, I'm like, okay, they're telling you how the world works. Do you want to accept what they say? No. You don't? Okay. So, when you reject somebody's influence, roll flat. On a hit, you successfully hold to yourself and tune them out. On a 10 plus, choose 2. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. I'll read the options. I'll let you pick, and we'll describe it in the fiction and go from there. So I will always make sure I read the move and explain the move when I'm telling you to roll something. But the same as the inverse is also true when you guys are rolling a move. Like, for example, OPT, if you're rolling mild-mannered, say, hey, I'm rolling mild-mannered, hit the button, explain what it does, and we'll go from there.
All right.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. So with that is going to be the end of session 0. Stay tuned to the Twitter account for information on when the episode of this is going to try to keep it on Wednesdays as close to time consistent. But this is going to be one of our more fluctuating things because of schedules and all of that. Especially coming up here in about 4 or 5 weeks when the Zelda 1 randomizer tournament gets to the bracket stage, and those of us on staff, Nora, OPT, and myself, have at least at minimum 120, maybe 180 matches to deal with, give or take.
And the fact that the three of us are also in the tournament doesn't help us.
That too. So anyway, keep your eyes and ears peeled to the Twitter. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll be back here on Sunday night with Bay City Chronicles, Volume 5, Sanctuary City, Issue 8. It has not been named yet because I haven't gotten to that, but we'll be here for that. So thank you all very much for watching. And of course, as always, remember to keep hailing.
Night all.
Take care.
Good night.